we're going to do is I'm going to switch this over a little bit. I'm going to shake it up a little bit here and talk about, we're going to switch this to some news and interesting things, as well as COVID, of course, that we talk about first. So let's open this up. The big news for this week related to COVID is Maui. Maui COVID rules are changing. And what's going on with Maui is starting this week, started on Tuesday of this week, Maui County began requiring all inter-island and trans-Pacific travelers to the isle to download the state's new Aloha State Alert app prior to arrival, or else undergo mandatory 10-day quarantine. This is in addition to the negative COVID-19 test already required prior to travel under the state's Safe Travels program in order to bypass the quarantine. So what that means you got to have two apps now. Two. The one is the Safe Travels app, which is the one that you use to upload your negative COVID test before you come to Hawaii, and you are able to kind of come here and stay without quarantine. This other one is this new one. It's the Aloha Safe Alert app, which is one of these apps that they're encouraging actually everybody in Hawaii to have this app. It uses Bluetooth technology to kind of see if the person that you're close, if you come near a person who also has the app, these apps talk to each other to see if you've come in proximity. And if you come in proximity, it makes some sort of a log. And then if someone that you ever came into proximity with got sick, everybody would get notified, including you. So it's a way they're using to help hopefully control the outbreak. This is not the only app. This app is being used, not this specific app, but apps like this are being used across the country. So that's the big news on what's going on Maui. The other one, vaxxers exempted. I hope vaxxer is not a pejorative. I don't mean it to be but the word vaccinated travelers was too long to fit in the thing. What's going on is this: there is some talk that vaccinated travelers could be exempt from quarantine testing by the spring. So there's been some chatting going around. Our Lieutenant Governor Josh Green, he said that travelers who get vaccinated for COVID-19 will likely be exempted from quarantine and testing requirements as early as this spring. So there's some talk, the long and short of this is that there's some talk going on that if you're vaccinated, you would be able to become exempt from quarantine. I hope that's going to be the case. It's just talk right now. There's nothing been officially stated. Last week, man, it was a heck of a week, man. We had some serious weather, hardcore, very windy weather. We had floods, we had outages. There's a couple of photos there. Actually, was rather personal for me. If you look at that middle photo, that's just a photo in urban Honolulu, and that's kind of what it was looking like. It was rainy and windy, and that picture. Let me see if I could open this up just a little bit more. That picture on the left there, the lower left picture, that's a tree on the ground. That is my tree and my backyard. So the tree got knocked over. That's an old cherry tree that actually has been on our property for really since before we got here, which was for over 25 years ago on the property. So it was sad to see that tree go. It had a beautiful monstera plant that was around it and came down. Winds just took it down. So that was a bummer. We also had some huge surf, and Scott had mentioned the surf in the pregame show about the surf. Let me give you a quick video. There's some really cool footage here. Let's see if we could play this. Bear with me here. I'm going to see if we could open this up. So this is what I want to make. I want to show you here, to walk through on this one here. So you see here, it's gigantic surf. Those are jet skis in the water over here. And here you see a big wave coming in, right? And everyone's just kind of still, they're just kind of lounging around. They're waiting for the right wave. Everything's cool. Nobody's kind of moving around. They're waiting for the right wave. And now look at this big one. A giant one is breaking outside. Everybody sees it. And look at those jet skis. Everyone now is on full throttle to get away from this thing. Now watch. You're going to see these guys get air. Like here. Here's the first one. Second one. Look at that. You see that guy? That last guy right there. Boom. Think about these waves are 40 feet high. And if you're hitting this thing, there's another one going airborne. Now, one guy is going to eat it here really bad. Watch. One guy's going to go over the falls. So this guy, he just makes it over the top. Now, watch. You're going to see this one guy eat it. Here we go. Watch. Right there. Boom. So crazy surf there. Sadly to say, the guy that one that you saw that really got some serious air, he had to be 50 feet in the air, right? These waves are 25 feet, 30 feet high from from trough to crest. Jet ski going full bore to make it over. You saw that ramp. The guy got air. He had to be 50 feet in the air. So imagine crashing into the water from a 50-foot high thing with a jet ski. Broke his back. He's in the hospital and had undergoing a spinal surgery. Hope he's going to be okay. But that was crazy. That was really, really crazy. So that was the news from last week. From everybody, you know, let's is there anything you want to add about the news? Let's just go right down the line here. Dylan, anything you want to add, experiences that you had during the week about this weather that we had?
You know, the weather wasn't that bad on the Big Island. Well, you know, I always joke, but I'm serious that like Kona has the best weather in the whole entire world because we're protected by the mountains. And so there was in other parts of the state, it was kind of weird, but in Kona we had some rain, we had some drizzling, you know, some days where it drizzled all day long, which is odd for the west side, but none of the like extreme. It's funny because we get flash flood warnings on our phones, right? And you go look outside and it's like drizzling and it doesn't ever rain very hard. But I guess the weather man says something different than what actually happens. But yeah, it's been pretty it's been nice because we had a couple of dry months there during the holidays. And so we needed the rain to get everything back to being green. And the only other thing I have to say about the COVID thing is I did have my first experience with a client that flew in that actually got tested at the wrong facility and was ordered to quarantine and ended up actually just turning around and going back to the mainlands because it was kind of a wasted trip if they would have to quarantine. So they are being strict about that. So far, you know, all of my experiences with lots of people have been pretty smooth, that they come here and as long as they got the testing from the right provider, they go through the process here and they continue on with their trip. But finally had some personal experience with one that messed it up and had to go home.
You got it. Planning is the name of the game over here. Scott, how was the? Did you see how many downed trees were there around where you were at with the wind and the rain that we had this week?
I didn't notice any downed trees, but I will take full responsibility for all this weather because I delivered plants, all my plants and sod on Friday, and by Saturday I was losing my mind. Luckily, I had taken my sod and I had laid it on the ground to prevent from erosion when it's raining straight onto the dirt, it messes everything up. So luckily I had done that and I didn't have any issues, and I had moved all the palm trees and everything into my garage and closed the door. But yeah, it was pretty nuts. I kept waking up every hour from hearing the winds and the rain, worrying about the project and stuff. But luckily nothing happened for me in my project. And I didn't notice anything around the neighborhood. That surf video you showed them, that was Outer Reef, Oahu, there was some insane surf. But I also saw some last night of Jaws over on Maui, where Heidi is. Jaws. Yep. It was almost even more insane, some of the stuff they were dropping in on it. If you ever get the chance to see that, if you drive up to the North Shore. I remember 2005 when I came over here from the Big Island, and I had to park 2 miles away to walk down to where they were having the eddy at Waimea Bay. There must have been 10,000 people on the beach, and these guys are ants. And it really puts in perspective the power, and you hear that cracking. It sounds like a freight train coming down the pipe there. It's impressive.
Yeah, I've got I'll share a moment if I have. We have a lot of questions coming in, a lot of activity, which is wonderful, and I want to hear, Heidi, what's been your experience? How was the weather, or what happened during the week overview, or anything else you want to talk about as far as news goes?
Well, we did have a little stormy weather here on Monday. There was some flash flooding in central Maui. Out where I was still out showing properties, and it was actually a good day to see which properties had the more protected lanai areas. So it turned out to be a great day, and also enjoy watching the big wave surfers. Those are the kind of conditions I personally stay out of the ocean in, but it's fun to watch other people.
Now, you mentioned earlier, do you live nearby Honolulu, which is Jaws? Do you live near that area, or is that far away from you?
Well, I live near Honolulu, which is a famous surf spot. Jaws is on the North Shore.
Oh, so I have it wrong. So Honolulu Bay and Jaws are not the same place.
Yes. Okay,
got it. Thank you. Excellent. And earlier, Heidi was mentioning that she this time of the year she sees whales outside of her house, which is about as cool as it gets. There's very few bragging points of Hawaii that beat I see whales outside of my house, which is totally awesome.